Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Wilson. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this service at the First Universalist Church of Rochester. If this is your first time, or maybe your second time here at our church, we especially welcome you this morning. We invite you and everybody to attend coffee hour after service in the Clara Barton Lounge behind us, or online in the same Zoom link. There's also a visitor's form at the back of your order of service, or by clicking the link in the chat online. We invite you to fill this out so that we can offer you a welcome beyond what we can this morning, and so you can stay up to date with what's going on here at the church. This is a special service today for honoring all the big feelings that can come up around the holidays. So it may be a little different than our typical Sundays. Reverend Eileen wrote the script for the service, but she's out of town for her father's memorial service today. And so Patti Goodwin is filling in to lead us. Thank you, Patti. One quick announcement, if I'll direct your attention to the announcements in your order of service. Maybe especially that first one for no reason. And then if you have requested a name tag, just make sure to pick it up at the welcome table in the Clara Barton Lounge. Or if you're interested in a name tag, you can certainly request it at that same table. Before we turn towards our neighbors, bless you. Before we turn towards our neighbors this morning, let's say hello to our online community by offering a wave back towards the camera next to the Progress Pride flag. If you're online, feel free to pop a greeting into the chat and say hello to your fellow worshipers. And for those here in person at First Universalist, let's take a moment to turn towards our neighbor and offer a good morning greeting.
Okay, lovies, it's time to come back together and have a seat and have your attention this way, because I have. Sit down for a moment, relax, open your ears big, because this is a big announcement. Does that work okay? Is that good? All right. Erin Scott. You all remember Erin Scott. She was in our youth group. She grew up in this church, in this congregation, and she is delighted to share news of her intense but joyful interview with the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. Are you ready? She is now officially a UU minister.
And now it is time to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, 232, "The Hills Are Bare at Bethlehem." Thank you, everyone. That was lovely. I'm Willow. My pronouns are she or he. And as the political environment darkens, almost in step with the shortening day this winter season, it can sometimes be frightening to take positive action. What can we, so few, do in the face of such power? I am reminded of a time when I was unsure of what I could do to resolve an overwhelming challenge. I was driving a friend who worked as a direct service professional for special needs youth home from his workplace, a small farmhouse converted into a home on a very rural highway in northern New York, like middle of nowhere, like just a stretch of highway. About a mile and a half after departure, a light I had never seen before on my dashboard appeared. Electrical failure. Pull over now. It actually said that. Pull over now. I did so, and U-turned my vehicle to face my friend's boss's home. I'm big. You're small, and by small I mean like 4'11" and shrinking. I push. You steer. My friend questioned whether or not it even made sense to try and push my 3,500-pound vehicle a mile and a half. And my only response was, it will work out somehow. Work out somehow it did. I hadn't pushed the car much further than 30 feet when some motorcyclists pulled over. A short discussion later, and I had two grown men helping me push while their girlfriends watched their bikes. Was the miracle over? No. Not much further down the road, a van pulled over. It was one of my wife's cousins, Boomer. She does not know his real name, just everyone called him Boomer. His wife probably called him Boomer. The artist who is only known as Boomer. Conveniently enough, in addition to volunteering himself, he voluntold his teenager to help us. All of a sudden, the labor of pushing my car went from one pusher, one driver, to 5 pushers, one driver. Much sooner than I could have possibly dreamed or even hoped, my car made it to my friend's boss's house. Well, there's a tad more to the story. And the important thing is that day, the difference between the possible and the impossible, disaster and salvation, was getting out and pushing without knowing how the task would be accomplished, only that I had to try. When considering the tasks ahead of us, both on a personal and political level, my suggestion is this: do whatever you can now, even if it seems impossible, especially if it seems impossible. You never know when a friend, new or old, will pull over and help push. Come, let us worship and strive for the future together. And as Richard and Ian come forward to light our chalice at First Universalist, and you light a chalice in your own homes, please join me in our chalice lighting words spoken in unison. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please rise in body or in spirit for our affirmation of faith. Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all.
The collection today will go to the Staff Bonus Fund to show our appreciation to our 10 staff members. This is a perfect time to recognize our hardworking and dedicated staff. We must collect your donation today for the staff to receive your contribution by the holidays. If you are writing a check, write staff bonus in the memo line. If you are online, select staff holiday bonus in the purpose selection box. There's a mouthful. Please place your donation in the offering basket or give online by scanning the QR code on the back of your order of service. This is also a great time to place visitors' forms in the offering basket. For folks online, please click the link in the chat to give to First Universalist Church. Thank you for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received. The point in our service where we do the joys, the message and story for all ages. So all those young people and those older people who think they're still young can come on up and have a seat on the carpet in front of me. Because you have to be able to get back up. That's why I said that. This story is The Grief and the Mustard Seed. It is a Buddhist folk tale. Once there was a woman in a small village whose young daughter grew sick and died. She was devastated and did not know how to move on from her grief. She couldn't imagine living without her child. She went to the Buddha's house and begged him, "Please give life back to my daughter. Please work a miracle for me." At first, he simply said no. But the woman continued to beg. Finally, the Buddha said to her, "Go and collect a mustard seed from every house in the village that has never known sorrow. From those I will make an ointment to revive your child." The woman ran out to do this. She went to the first house and asked the old man who answered the door if he had ever known sorrow. He shook his head sadly and said, "Yes. My dear wife died just last year. I miss her every day still." She talked with him for a while about his grief, then moved on to the next house. There, they had lost a brother and an aunt. At the next house, they wept over a son who had moved far away to find work. She found sorrowful stories at every house and sat to listen to all of them. After days of visiting every home, she returned with empty hands to the Buddha. "I understand," she said. "Every person's life contains sorrow she can't remove. But our sorrows connect us like a golden thread to one another." "Yes," replied the Buddha. "This knowledge is the only balm for our grief." This woman was sad, very sad. And in her sadness, she thought she was alone. But then she realized something. Everyone is sad sometimes. But she wasn't alone in her sadness. So we here in this place together, where we have our sadness, can share it so that we're not isolated and we're not ever alone. And now, I think there is somebody at the door. So the youth of our church can go to children's worship because they're going to follow Charlie up the stairs. And they won't be alone.
We'll sing them up with the doxology.
This morning, we invite you into a special ritual of grief and hope. Let us begin by taking a deep breath together. As we light these flames, you may wish to place one hand on your heart to bring your attention inward to the biggest feelings you hold. We light a candle to honor the pain of losing a person we have loved just recently or long ago. We remember their names, their voices, the movement of their hands, the scent of their hair. We sit with sorrow of memory. I invite you to name the persons you've lost aloud, in the chat, or in the silence of your heart. George. We light a candle to honor the pain of losing a relationship, a job, our health, or that of a family member. We sit with the sorrow of instability. I invite you to name whatever instability you're holding in a word or two, aloud, in the chat, or in the silence of your heart. We light a candle to honor the pain of losing direction, the hardship of having to find a new way when we thought we knew where we were headed. The path we thought we were on has shifted or changed, shaking the ground beneath us. We sit with the sorrow of change. I invite you to name the change you are living with in a word or two, aloud, in the chat, or in the silence of your heart. We light the fourth candle as a signal of hope. This tiny flame is a symbol of our expectation of goodness, however small it feels today. Although we may not always share in the merriness of this season invites, we know it holds a deeper message too. Christmas holds the lesson for us that what is sacred is embodied. It is here on earth. The holy lives in humble places, in the most unlikely places, and at the darkest times. Hope and joy arrive. And even when we cannot muster the will for being merry, we know there is a deep well of hope within us. I invite you to name your hope in a word or two, aloud, in the chat, or in the silence of your heart. This church. Now the circle of our care draws closed. May we replenish the hope in one another, in the world, and in our own lives. I invite you now into a time of prayer and centering, followed by some shared silence. When Life is Messy, by the Reverend Richard Gilbert. It is easy to pray when the sun shines, and we are grateful for another glorious day of being. It is hard to pray when wind and rain and thunder plague our every step and spoil our every plan. It is easy to be virtuous when life goes well, and our existence is a journey from bliss to beauty and back. It is hard to be virtuous when life assaults us, and our very being is a pilgrimage from bad to worse to worst. It is easy to be cheerful when health bursts in us so that we feel the very pulse of life. It is hard to be happy when pain and fatigue beset us and we wonder if we can go on. It is easy to do good when our goodness is rewarded and we feel the power of pride in accomplishment. It is hard to do good when we suffer for our efforts and are troubled because we have been misunderstood. It is easy to feel religious impulses well up inside us when inspiration lives at our elbow and walks on our path. It is hard to feel religious when we are tired with work to be done and discouragement seems to mark our every move. O God of order and neatness, we give thanks for all that is good. We are grateful for manifold blessings bestowed upon us. O God of chaos and disorder, be with us also when life is messy. Bless our coming in and going out from this day forth. Amen. Blessed be, may it be so. We will now sing the hymn of contemplation, number 55, Dark of Winter. We are now going to do a responsive litany. I invite you to join me in a responsive litany of comfort by Deborah Falk. Please speak the response on the screen when you hear, "This season brings forth many feelings."
We find comfort in naming those feelings we find, peace in being together.
All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart, not all is joyful. There is grief with the loss of relationships, those we love no longer with us because of death, those we have loved who are estranged from us. There is grief with the loss and change of relationship, grief as an expression of love. This season brings forth many feelings.
We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find peace in being together.
All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart, not all is joyful. There may be pain in our bodies. There may be anger and regret with memories we hold. Anger with past experiences of hurt or abuse. Regret of our own actions that may have caused hurt to others. Anger that life has not turned out as we imagined. This season brings forth many feelings.
We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find peace in being together.
All around us are bright lights and merry messages, yet in our heart, not all is joyful. There is loneliness when we find ourselves alone after being long partnered. Loneliness when we are separated from loved ones. Loneliness when we move to a new community and struggle to find our way. Loneliness that never seems filled, even with good company. Loneliness that is an ever-present aching in the heart. Loneliness, bitterness for it is felt only when we have known connection. This season brings forth many feelings.
We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find peace in being together.
All around us are bright lights and merry messages. Yet in our heart, not all is joyful. There may be uncertainty that accompanies transition and change, uncertainty of what the future brings. There may be a sense of hopelessness in the face of a world filled with violence and suffering, hopelessness in attempts to heal our aching world and ourselves, hopelessness in witnessing what we have not managed to accomplish. This season brings forth many feelings.
We find comfort in naming these feelings. We find peace in being together.
This is a reading, When Hope is Hard to Find, written by Reverend Eileen. Several years ago, when I was working as a membership director, I was on duty for the Christmas Eve services. We had 3 services in the evening, a pageant for families at 3:30, and 2 with carols and candlelight at 7 and 9:30. It's a long day for staff. All of this a week after our huge, visitor-heavy 800 to 900 person solstice service. That's just the work stuff, not any of the personal stuff this time of year requires of someone. I was tired. Christmas Eve is kind of a slow day for a membership director. So the main purpose our welcome table seemed to be serving was as complaint kiosk. I did almost none of my regular work of helping people learn about Unitarian Universalism and the church, and a whole lot of irregular work of fielding requests I had no capacity to fulfill, listening patiently to nostalgia for the carols we used to sing on Christmas but neglected to sing this year, tiptoeing through the minefield of why the lobby furniture had been rearranged 3 years ago, etc. After After most of the congregants at the last service had gone on their merry way, and the hour was closing in on 11, I was beginning to imagine going home to my partner and crawling under a warm blanket to gaze at flickering tree lights together. Just then, an elder in the congregation, who had attended services alone, approached me. "Why are there no cookies?" he demanded. I was a bit taken aback. He went on, "People used to bring cookies to share after the service, and we'd all have cookies and hot cocoa together. Why aren't we doing that anymore?" "Well," I began, "there was a cookie sharing table at the earlier service." "I don't see why we can't have cookies after every service," he continued. I drew myself up in frustration and annoyance, prepared to say something like, "There are no tables filled with cookies because it's 11 p.m. The staff has been here all day long, and we'd like to go home to spend what's left of Christmas Eve with our families." But before I could say all that, it hit me. He had no one to go home to. He wanted to spend the evening, an evening when joy was expected of him, with others. He wasn't looking for treats. He was looking for time, for connection. Well, my Grinchy heart grew 3 sizes that day. I took a deep breath. "There are no cookies, but I know there's some cocoa mix back in the kitchen," I said. "Would you like a cup? We can hang out here at the welcome table and drink it if you like." That evening taught me a lot. Sometimes joy and pain get stuck together in a way. Christmas is a time for great joy, so inevitably, pain gets in the mix. And the longer we live, the more complicated Christmas becomes. Love works like that, as a messed up mix of joy and pain, doesn't it? That's what's hard about love, that it so often takes the form of grief. And what's so good about grief? That we know it's really love at its core. Grief is real. In fact, grief is good because it is evidence of love. Having sat with so many people in the midst of loss of their own lives, of the life they used to know, of their loved ones, this holds true for me. Grief is a signpost of love. It's a jagged note etched onto the wall of our life. Love was here. And grief, I have been surprised, can be beautiful. Grief can point us home toward love. Nothing I can say this morning will alleviate your grief or offer you a Christmas of pure joy. No such thing exists. But here is the one good thing about grief, if you ask me. The only way to escape its grasp is never loving. And that's somehow worse. For nearly all of us, we've decided that love is worth inviting grief to the table. That joy is worth the pain it carries with it. So, by some miracle, we find ourselves here in the middle of a real Charlie Brown Christmas filled with good grief. Good because it's born out of love. Good because it means we have welcomed joy, even knowing that it carries pain along with it. At a time of year that demands we be joyful, we can, at the very least, be hopeful. We know pain only because we have known joy. If the pain is eclipsing all else this morning, we can find hope in the understanding that joy is stuck to it, in there somewhere. If grief is all we feel today, our hope is in knowing that grief has always been a signpost, pointing us home to love. If it all feels too much to bear right now, our hope is in this gathered community, the promise that we do not have to bear it alone. May it be so, and amen. Would you please rise in body or in spirit to sing our closing hymn together, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. Please remain standing as Willow extinguishes our chalice flame this morning. Let us read together the words printed on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together. And if the online congregation could turn to gallery view. As we close our service this morning, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. If you are joining online, hope you're looking at us through the gallery view and look upon the faces of those here with you. For those of us in the room, take a moment to look around at all who are here. I offer a benediction by Kate Braystrup. You can trust a human being with grief. Walk fearlessly into the house of mourning, for grief is just love squaring up against its oldest enemy. And after all these mortal human years, love is up to the challenge. Everyone is invited to join us for coffee hour immediately following the service in the Clara Barton Lounge or online in the current Zoom meeting. Hope to see you all there.
Hi, I'm Steve Farrington. Just wanted to give a little quick intro before I sing my postlude. One of my favorite movies is the 1958 comedy Anti-Mame. Anyone ever seen it? You've seen it? Okay, very good. It's a classic. Pro tip, watch the Rosalind Russell version, not the Lucille Ball monstrosity, okay? Yeah, a little gay wisdom for you. Rosalind Russell, remember, okay. This classic film features a progressive and independent woman with lots of eccentric friends. Sound familiar? She would have been a UU for sure. Auntie Mame, who cares for her nephew Patrick after the boy is orphaned. In the Broadway version, musical version, this song I'm about to sing for you became a beloved classic. In fact, it's such a beloved Broadway classic, I almost invited Ann Rhodey to sing with me. But anyway, it's not too late, Ann. If you want to do a duet. Anyway, this song is really lovely. It's about finding joy in what can seem like dark and hopeless times. So feel free to sing along if you know the words, because no matter who you are, and no matter who you are and who you love, we can all use an excuse to find joy in a very dark season. So yes, folks, we need a little Christmas. Haul out the holly, put up the tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stocking, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, we're in a hurry, so climb down the chimney, turn on the brightest string of lights I've ever seen. Slice up the fruitcake, it's time we hung some tinsel on that evergreen bough. For I've grown a little leaner, grown a little colder, grown a little sadder, grown a little older, and I need a little angel sitting on my shoulder. I need a little Christmas now. For we need a little music, need a little laughter, need a little singing, ringing through the rafter, and we need a little snappy, happy ever after. We need a little Christmas now.